Hi guys, how are you doing? So today we had an FOMC data and we would be discussing that as well. The US interest rates came and they remained constant, and we will be discussing everything around there, but I want you to really focus on these streams because we just would be like looking at all the currency pairs out there, which I actually look every single day, and it will of course make a difference. So today we had like the interest rates for United States that came around like 4.50. 4.50 was the forecasted one. So this was like an important data for today that was actually coming out. The crude oil inventories, the data was bad because crude oil inventories, like the higher the data, it more worst it would be. So anyway, we had like a press conference out here and discussed everything. So moving back towards 30th Jan, that is tomorrow, and how we will be looking at the reason for doing the stream right now is that the market is quite slow, and we need to actually. It's a good time to actually understand that what's really happening. So there would be a CPI for Spain, but it is not as important right now than main data that are coming. That is the main refinancing rate, and it is also known as their interest rate, policy rate, and there are many other names. So monetary policy rate, there are many names for it. So it's basically the interest rate, that is a policy rate coming, and the previous is 3.15, and they are kind of reducing it through in the forecasted value right here. So it is kind of like a really important deal right now. And secondly, we this would be happening around 8:15 a.m., that is Eastern Standard Time, and we do have USD GDP quarterly data coming around. That is that seems to be uh, little less than the previous one in the forecasted value right here. And we do have an unemployment claims, really important in, again, in order to actually understand the NFP next in month, that is Feb. And we do have like a press conference as well. So you see right here, everything is happening in the slot around 8:15 to 10 o'clock right here. And it would be much preferable to specifically work around like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., and I think it would be high volatile time and can make a really great difference. So this is the data that is really important, specifically this refinancing data that is coming, and specifically they are decreasing it. So seems like it would be much in their attention, and this GDP data that is coming for United States, a little bit decreasing out here, and then this conference out here can make enough difference. And this all is happening in the slot within like 8:15 to 8:45. So you can just imagine that it is hardly 30 minutes data that is actually releasing, and it is like far uh, important. So I think it make enough sense for you guys that to see the importance of it. And now, as we know that this is DXY, we have been like discussing it every single day that whenever I stream. So when this at 2 p.m. this this data started coming. So the price actually, when this data came, that is FOMC data, that is also an interest rate data, which came around here this at this candle, and you see the reaction that we got isn't as accurate and good for the traders as it should have been. So there's nothing to worry about right now, but sometimes the reactions are huge. We see like intense volatility like that on the upper or lower side, but today it was like a different scenario. So it's fine if it was like that, but we need to actually discuss that how we are looking at DXY right now. So guys, we have been like in an understanding that the trend got shifted around this point. This was the low right here, and this was the high right here. And after that, you see that price is unable to make the highs, but instead it came down here, and this was the first stop after that. And then price actually like retested around three times. So after that, price retested around three times here, and after that, price kind of like went crashing down. Although this gap, it is like a bearish candle that formed in a 1 day, but it was based on like on Monday because of like the presidential, when the President Trump took the oath and all that stuff, that kind of like went crashing down and things got different. Anyway, guys, so the thing is that then price came back down, price pushed up, came back down further around this point, and when price came around this point and kind of like hold, we can see that this was like a liquidity that was being generated down there because of this first time touch, the second time touch, and the third time touch right here. Again, the prices went pushed back up to this level right here, really important level right here. Price came back down there. This was like all the liquidity zone around here. Yeah. So eventually what happened, that prices pushed up and took all this liquidity from this point coming back down there. Then price went again back up, giving the reaction around this point, and after that price again went down, taking the liquidity from this point. And after that, when the liquidity was taken from this point, prices pushed on up, came back down, held this level around here, and now currently reacting around this zone. So there are like two expectations right now. Number one expectation, what I actually think that, of course, price has like a selling trend around here at this point, but we also see like the things are being shifted on the upper side after this move, because if the prices would have has really impacted from FOMC, the things could have like continued like that, and we could have like seen the reaction on that side. But the thing is that we couldn't like see the reaction, as I was already telling, and you can see right here, even the candles weren't even able to break this low, because this was like literally made on the first few hours of London session. So the prices wasn't able to even break this because it started around like 11 p.m. So it's like made on like pre-Asian session, this candle right here. So price couldn't even like break this zone. And right now what we can actually do is just like wait in a sense that we do have like liquidity generated up here, and we have to like actually see that how actually price reacts around that point. On the other hand, if the price is like kind of like break this zone like that, prices can go down here, and if the prices break this zone, went up, and can break again back on the upper side, and again like breaking this and continue on the upper side. For that kind of reason, guys, I'm really interested like to see that DXY would again get bullish from this point, because of this logical reasoning is because this was like a intense range out here that the liquidity took was taken. Again, this was a liquidity block. Price went up again, took the liquidity. This was a liquidity, and if the price would have like literally continued on the downside, we could have like seen a reaction like that. Again again price would be like going down like that. But all on the other hand, we actually like saw that prices actually broke this level around this point, and after breaking this level, price couldn't even like push on the downside further. So much likelihood is that I personally feel like the prices have buyers do have like a strength right now to push on the upper side. So for that purpose, I'm just placing my alert right there. Secondly, the thing is that if we like price is like unable to form the structure like that and starts coming down, then we can actually observe another move like that, and further liquidity can be taken for the dollar as well. So this could be the another scenario that could actually be formed. So this is what I'm looking at right now. Just a sec, guys. Welcome back, guys. So now we do have like USD CAD in front of us, and if we see USD CAD, I'm currently like using this as a highest level. I'm using this level to I can show you that how I have placed these levels. So currently I'm using this as a high, and uh, this as a point of reference as well. The reason for using that high is that it has been like intense range out there in front of you. We have like discussed this all stuff out there, but now I believe that the dimensions are shifted. The graph has actually shifted because of this kind of move that happened in election time, and on that election day we did had Canadian dollar data that was coming out. So that's why this was an extreme kind of reaction that we actually saw. Now you need to like actually really grasp this, that what are our extremes levels right now. So if we see right here, this is like this is the point where the liquidity was taken from the bottom. See, this was a liquidity that was taken from all these players that were trying to long it, and even those who were like going longs, and even the liquidity was taken around here when people were trying to masses were trying to short it from this point, and prices went back up, took both sides liquidity, stopping the buy side liquidity and also the sell side liquidity from this point. And then we can actually see that this is our peak formation, and this is our peak formation for now onwards. Now what is really happening is that this is the point where the price is actually settling up. Or this is the point where the price is actually settling up, and this is the point where the price is actually settling up. This is the range that is being developed, and what we can actually expect of out of this range is that we can see that prices has started like forming a bullish trend around this point like that, gave a little reaction around this point exactly, which I was already expecting. And after that, right now what we can actually expect is either continuation of this range towards the bottom, because this is the point where we do have a liquidity being generated right here, and the liquidity out here at this point is most likely been taken out. So the liquidity right here has been like taken out, and this is the liquidity that is still intact. Although, like, if the people like entered around here, prices came back. People who entered around here, prices are, they are still in the market, but prices like can continue on the downside like that. But still, it doesn't make it any sort of like bullish or bearish, because it's still in that extensive range. Although, like, we saw this kind of like moves to take out all the previous liquidities, but this is the new range that is being developed, and let's see how it actually works around. On USD CHF, USD CHF gave us a similar pattern, like roundabout similar to USD JPY. This was like quite clear in the sense that uh, this was the high, this was the low. It was a difficult trade in understanding as well. We see if this is the low point, this is the high point. Price is unable to form the high, started rejecting around that point. Unable to form the high with this, and failed to break, and instead it kind of like reversed back from that point and started moving on the downside. We did got this kind of move around here. After that, prices were unable to form a high again, breaking these levels, and started moving on the downside. Again, low hanging fruit trade from this point. Again went up, failed, moved down. Again went up, failed, and gave us a good move on the downside. So it kind of like stopped everybody out there. People who were long around this point, people who were like placing their longs around this point, and like took everybody out. And after that, we saw an intense move on the upside. Price reacted around this order block right here, gave a small move, and then continuing the pattern on the upper side. So now this is like a complicated situation here, that what we can actually expect is that there are two forms right now, that price is still in this kind of like zone, on the sell structure zone. Although the price actually broke this level, but for a full buyer's confirmation, we do need price to actually break this zone properly. And if it kind of continues after that, we can expect a bullish move. On the other hand, if the price come back down here, can give us a reaction for the top, taking out this liquidity. And even if the prices come back around taking this liquidity out, can still like push the prices on the upper side like that. But where the trend would be shifting is around breaking of this level and then moving on the downside like that. So for that reason, what I'm actually thinking is, this is the kind of a test that has happened for this level. So as we like kind of like considering dollar to be like getting stronger, so this could be the option. So that's why I'm placing my alert right here. In any case, price kind of like goes up, take the liquidity around this point, and then start moving on the downside, can further continue like that. USD JPY, USD JPY is in a difficult structure as well right now. Really a tough scenario in that case, that We do see that this was like a support right here, and this is a resistance up here. Prices kind of like broke this structure, and after that prices went in range, went down, took all this liquidity from this point, and still like continuing the downtrend further like that. But there is a really important stuff out there is that the way this movement of the reversal occurred, it's like really bullish. So there are like two scenarios that either like the price would be coming to this middle level or to the discounted level and can push on the upper side, or on the other hand like prices can push on the upper side like that. But there are enough evidences out there, like twice we can see that prices kind of like pushing on the sell side with the strength. So this is what actually situation looks like right now. It is a valid point even to take a position as well. If we see in 1 hour chart right here, but on the 1 hour chart we can see that there's another thing which kind of like highlighted that this is an impulsive move if we consider like the structure is being shifted, because you see these were the supports right here that could have acted as a resistance, as a breaker block for this move around here and pushing the prices down, although we did got a reaction around this level. But the most important thing is that it's the price that is like coming like that, forming this kind of structure. So if the price breaks and can continue on the downside like that, but we do have certain kind of points that can be problematic around here. So we have to like see the reaction specifically, like how things would run. The alert that has I have placed right above here is like not of utility anymore. So price is standing right there. We do see a reaction that have actually happened around this order block right here in front of you guys. Price reversed back into this order block, gave us a reaction. But the thing is that does it make it as a bullish right now? I don't think so. So it's like super complicated right now. I can't even like figure out that how the setup formation would be looking. So for me, guys, like USD CAD, USD JPY is no phase, because it's not clear. So I just want to like remove my alert from here because it's like it's not clear for me. Euro USD. So Euro USD started giving us a bullish momentum move. I kind of like figured it out in front of you guys. I kind of like gave you the idea that yes, this is happening. Price came back down, went up, broke this structure, failed to break higher above, came back down, and this was the move that we actually got on the first speech of Trump for the economic forum, and then prices went bullish further. Then what happened that prices came back down here, failed to make higher highs, and Intense gave us a reversal move, breaking this structure around here and moving further down, and can creep down further like that, because here we can see that there is a clear evidence for the break of structure that actually putting this structure on the bearish side. And we do have like a liquidity down here, we do have a liquidity down here that is not mitigated, and secondly all the sell side liquidity has been taken out. So it's really important right now to see that this is a money spot right here. Price is, if the price is kind of like stays under this, we can expect a move on the downside like that. On the other hand, we also can see that this kind of like selling inducement never happened like in a previous rally that we can actually look, except in here, but still it kind of like managed to break on the upper side. So right now this kind of like selling that we can actually see, or it's like quite more legit rather than this buying. But on the other hand, if we can see that prices again reach back to this uh, point, forming a double top right here, and if prices kind of like holds around this order block and again breaks the structure, it can go on the upper side like that. But for me right now, I would be still looking at as a short. We do have like a good order block at this point. Price can further break like that if price goes even up. Guys, yeah, I need like a break. Welcome back, guys. Euro GBP are really difficult pair to trade even in this kind of scenario. Euro GBP had like a great days that it started ranging around this point, and after that we just saw a good breakout of the structure. We have been discussing that, and we can see that each time the prices came back down but started forming like this channel structure that was really pushing on the upper side. So here we have like this channel structure that was forming right here, and there came a point that as this channel was like being formed, there was like a range or accumulation that started actually forming around this point. And the most important criteria is that if this was the low here and this was the high, so the prices should have like broken this high and continued the range on the upper side, but instead it got sideways. So this was an uptrend above here, then the prices went in accumulation phase, and after that we got a breakout. And after getting a breakout, this candle kind of like really confused me for working, because you see right here it's like, although now it seems fine, but at the moment of working it was like really like annoying candle, because you see there is a gap in here because the prices were selling, but the opening prices was around here, that pushed the prices up, retested by this wick, and then prices went down, and now price is like slowly creeping on the downside. So For taking this kind of like trade in here, it's more on a difficult side, but right here we do have a point of interest that kind of like acting as a support right here. What I actually believe that if the prices like goes up like that and forms a structure, we can again expect a move on the downside for the follow-up continuation. And for that reason, I would be like removing this point and just placing my alert right here. Euro odd. This is the kind of like structure which we are looking at. We did got a break around this point, which is still in play from this point. Prices went up, again broke down, went up, failed to break this point, went on the downside, further again went up, made a low, high, lower high, higher high, and still price is right in this range. So this is the kind of a reaction which we are looking at. We might get a breakout on the top like that from this point and further continuation after breaking this level. For the cell structure, I'm not much clear about it because just a sec, guys. So right here, the scenario is this is the scenario that we are kind of looking at. Why it is important, I can like tell you that liquidity is right in here, and secondly, like the price has like started going on the upper side like that. Price tests this level, we can then expect a move on the downside further. So it is like not even clear that how things are reacting. Secondly, guys, if we kind of like zoom it a little bit, we can see that either to remain sell side based on this structure on the buy side after the breakout from here. So the setup is not clear, guys. So there's nothing that actually can be done. I'm gonna remove this level because the swing is not good, and we do see that price is kind of like broke on the upper side and unable to like close on the low. If in case prices come back down, then we can actually expect a move on the downside. For that purpose, I would be, or even like if the prices come back down there right here, we can again see a move like that. But if the price kind of like breaks this level, come back down here, still the prices would be in the range until unless like the break happen around this point. So I can place my alert right here 66518. Although there's another thing that although the price is going out or off the range, but still the momentum is quite low to even reach to that level. But if the sellers come here, it's like a clear move on the downside like that, and even like further to break these levels, reaching to that point. Euro NZD is in the similar phase, although we had got a reaction around this point, and the liquidity has been like observed around here. That is like failing to actually close and instead like went on the downside. It's a good reaction. So if the prices kind of like break around this point, we can expect a move on the downside further. I'm feeling really sleepy, guys. It seems to be a legit liquidity grab, and prices are failed to break, and then we can see that prices are like struggling to even form higher highs right here. This could be a good formation for a sell structure. Guys, I need to break. NZD, Euro NZD is like a good pair to keep yourself focused on, and for that reason, guys, I would be willing to even note it down in my diary so that I can actually track it down. For tomorrow. EuroCAD, I got really interested in EuroCAD today, guys. It's like a really good setup in here. You see that the prices started pushing on the upper side each time, and This is the first time around this point that prices are unable to like form high, instead it broke on the downside. Although this is a good support and resistance setup right here, we can see that this is a resistance and prices right now on the support. My alert is right here, and I really believe that prices can push on the downside. We can get a reaction around this point till this order block, and then actually we might get a push on the upper side, closing all those positions out and then moving further. For that kind of like reason, EuroCAD as well, to note it down. And secondly, guys, the most important stuff is that all the liquidity around these points and these levels has been like taken out. Buyers are being superly squeezed. Prices came back down, went up, push on the downside, but it's like super early to even like take any sort of decision, because until we need to get a good amount of break on the downside, and we did got even a pullback reaction, but failed pullback. Maybe like if the prices go like that, this is another other kind of scenario that can actually develop. That could be like three setups here: one touch, two touch, three touch, and then move on the downside. But if the prices like moves to downside around here, can give us a good classical pattern. Euro JPY, it's in a difficult scenario too, because of like you see right here, prices started running slow, went up, went down, and can continue the trade towards the downside, even to this order block, and even can break this after a pullback further. I personally believe that this is a good formation right now for taking an opportunity even. But the problem with this scenario right now is that we can see that there is a break and prices going up. So either we can do is like place our pending order for the sells around this point with the stop loss up here, but the swing is not good. If the swing has been like that around this structure, it would be more better momentum than it is happening right now. This is what I'm looking at right now. If we see it in 1 hour right now, so we do see a structure right in here that price is reacting to. This is the kind of a structure where the price is right now reacting to, and if somebody wanna like take a chance because of this momentum candle that is being developed, it could be a great opportunity for breaking this zone around here. And the way it is like pushing on the downside, this liquidity can be taken out for sure. And prices can like come back and reverse and continue on the further downside. For example, guys, I want to like break the stream and in a different sense that a good momentum is coming in yens right now. See right here. I want to like enter. Euro CHF constantly making a channel format, pushing on a higher structure like that. Although we got a good reversal around this point, but we do have a liquidity around this level. Prices didn't took this liquidity, instead it's like trying to like show that the bullish momentum is still in a continuation form, but still there is a lot more evidences that are needed, but it's not provided. GBP USD, the formation is the same. Moving on the upper side, small channel structure around here broke up, failed, came back down, couldn't break properly. But if it comes back to this point, we can actually expect a move. First target, it would be a really excellent trade. Good profit and loss ratio on in that kind of, sorry, good risk to reward ratio. We need to see any reaction around this level. In that case, guys, 24747. This is the kind of a place I would be waiting for actually to get the reaction if this is legitimate cell structure. GBP or say the way it kind of like broke from this point, we were really interested, but there is no swing that happened. So price instead came back down, broke, now forming this structure and can further break like that on the upper side. It's not even completed right now. Similarly, the same with GBP and ZD, not completed, but we do have a small important stuff in here that happened, that you can see that this was the high, this was the low. Prices are unable to like go on the upper side. Instead, they are like building up the range and channel and then the range, and then we might get a move on the downside. GBP CAD, this was the low, this was the high. Price came back down there, pushed up, failed to make an higher high right now. But if it comes like that, We can have this double top around here, almost nearby this liquidity. Price breaks, we can expect a move on the downside. Setups are out there, guys. It's just like we have to like time them properly. GBP JPY. See, this is like super difficult to even understand that there was a breakout. Price pulled back, didn't break this low, nor keep on like tried pushing on the higher up high, failing, came back down, pushed from here, took this liquidity and again like coming down. It's kind of like incomplete setup right now, but we can view it later on. GBP CHF, similar scenario right here. Price went up, came back to this order block, pushed on the upper side, failed, came back down, came 1 2 3 pattern, and right now pushing on the upper side like that. Failed to if break, we can then expect a move on the downside. If it fails to close on the upper side and start giving us a reaction around this point, I can suggest you like this would be a good healthy move on the downside, but really difficult to execute right now. Aussies has been like forming a similarly bullish structure, came back down, took this liquidity around this point, and now giving us a reaction for the upper move. This was the point the price should have stopped. This was the point the price should have stopped, but price came to the deep bottom and right now pushing on the upper side. If this is a true move on the upper side, the criteria is that although like it seems really legit right now that the liquidity has been swept, prices came back down, prices are pushing on the upper side. But for this kind of like move, guys, I actually need evidence from a lower time frame. We did got our evidence. Price went up, pushed back down, price went up, pushed back down. After the price went up, came back, retested this level, pulled back, and can further continue on the upper side. Seems like the structure has been like shifted on 1 hour time frame right now. Price to like really confirm its move on the bullish scenario for our sure short deal is this high. 62579 around this point. That's what would make it like a real move for the upside, because the strength is out there. I believe that if somebody says that it clearly shows the strength, yes, it shows the strength, but we need more evidence out of it for the proper confirmation. Guys, I would be needing a break. I'm coming back. Meanwhile, so I hope it made sense to you guys that, see, the idea is that although on the small time frame it is given us this kind of structure of 1 to 3 pattern, but the problem is that on a higher time frame you need a proper break around this point. So in any case, if this break occurs around this, then we can actually see this proper break, then reverse, and then continuation on the upper side. We would be like love to take this kind of position around this point, but for now, guys, it's like it's not enough evidence for the price to actually get long. AUD and ZD, guys, it's like so much intense range that it's not even worthy to discuss it right now. But still, this is the point of our reference right now for the liquidity down there. On the other hand, guys, we have been like discussing that the prices couldn't make a higher high and prices went down. Really a good structure around here like that might be reaching around this point. This kind of a trade we could have like scored, but let's now let it complete the structure. Then if this is a proper structure on the sell side from this point and even break around this point, reaching to this point, so any sort of reaction around this can again give us a move for further downside. So I hope it makes sense. AUD CAD, AUD CAD gave us like a small swings, not a decent ones. Pushed on the upper side like that. This was the low, this was the high, broke this structure around this point. We got an intense reaction around this point. So from this point we start getting an intense reaction. If this is a real sell guys, so any sort of pullback can give us an opportunity for the downside. Then it wouldn't be like it would be going till this point most likely, and even till this point. Really a good scenario that can actually develop for the coming days. Euro JPY, as we discussed, yens are like in a good selling momentum around here. Price reaching to this point. I just want to get rid of that. We got a good reaction around this point. Pulled back, failed to break, continued. Give us a pin bar. Rejection from a pin bar. It's an ideal setup, guys. I don't believe that I freaking missed it. Let me explain you what really happened. You're gonna like really like it. So price went down, price pushed back up, failed to make any kind of higher high, came back down, again failed to make high, went back down, and it gave us this pin bar around this point. And now price went back in and started getting rejecting around this point. So let's look at in 1 hour. This is the pin bar which I'm talking about. Give us this kind of move around this. Can break this zone like that and further continue on the downside like that. Really loving it right now. AUD we have a clear zone, guys. It's like so appetizing right now. Clear zone on the downside till this liquidity grab. Amazing. Let us place the alert down here. So if it's really happening, so AUD CHF on the other hand, guys, 1 sec. I just wanna like look at something. I wanna like remove this, guys, because it's kind of like we need to like do a little bit of charting on this. Around here, this is a good best swing point that we can get right now. And this is a kind of another structure which we are looking at. We did got a little bit of break around this point, and we can see that prices started expanding. Really a good move. Let the prices come to this point, then we can actually think about getting in. Because it's a first time break, there would be some kind of retracements around this point. Let it go otherwise. A really good break, guys. As per our what we were telling and speaking or talking about, this is what we were actually looking at. AUD we had this order block right here. Prices came back down and unable to break this high. Started giving us a reaction around this point. Price can come down here till that point, but for this kind of structure, I want to like remove this right now, and I want to like consider this fresh range as my point of interest. Although like through the classical charting pattern, we can see that this is the kind of a structure actually which we are looking at, can push the prices down, but still there is not enough evidence for it. Although we did got a break, but still something doesn't seem right because of this kind of like structures that we had previously. Although we do have a selling around this point, but right now let's see uh, how things would be. Again, the similar pump came around this order block right here in NZD, but it's not as capable to push it on the upper side. Instead, we are seeing the reaction on the sell side for the continuation on the downside. We had the break around here. Prices came back, failed to make a high, instead came back down, tried making pushing on the upper side, but instead failed. Sellers induced, price came back down there, held its level around this point, pushed up, broke the structure, came back, retested this level, and now pushing back. It would be much more ideal, guys, that if the prices would have like came around this point and then give us a reaction for going on the downside. Really good setups right now that are forming. And CAD after we can see that this is a low point, this is a high point around here. Prices pushed back down to exact low right here, but couldn't even like break on the upper side. Right now we are getting a good amount of resistance around this point. And if we start rejecting and prices start coming on the downside, we can expect a move on the downside like that, as we saw in the other pairs. And the DJPY, amazing move, which we were like discussing before in other pairs as well. So let's remove this and bring it right here. Important swing level. Another important swing level. This is another like important structure right here where we can get a reaction or around that point. So this is the kind of a move which we are looking at. NZD-CHF kind of holding on this order block right here. First time came back, pushed back again, coming back, demand zone, and right now the reaction is not clear. And secondly, if you see this channel, it's like still in the bullish. And on the other hand, the reaction which we got it from there is like the biggest reaction that we ever got entirely. You see right here, it's a small reaction, small reaction. It's a little bit reaction, but not with a good momentum. This is a really good momentum reaction. So most likely the idea is like prices can like even go on the downside, but right now it's not the right time to plan something in this pair. Although like everybody has like a different kind of mindset, people might take it. CAD, JPY. So guys, this was the kind of a trade I was in. Kind of like suffered a bad loss in this trade because let me explain you. After the price like took the liquidity from this point and was reacting around this order block right here. Anyway, guys, when price took the liquidity and this was an order block right here, what ended up happening that price kind of like pushed on the upper side like that, came back down, reversed and pushed on the upper side. And most expectedly, like I was expecting that the momentum with this kind of like the reaction that happened around this momentum. Let me show you this kind of like reaction that happened, pushed up, pulled back. Here I kind of like took the position on the long side. My stop loss was around this point, and I got stopped out around this point. After that, I was just considering this as a 3 bar play candle, and what happened that price kind of like formed this kind of structure around here, and I kind of like entered in there, and after that, entering price again like broke down and closed me out here, hit my stop loss because my stop loss when I did a second entry, my stop loss wasn't that big either because I was kind of like confused from the first position. So after that, I kind of like decided not to like re-enter in it. So we can see that the reaction again is trying to go on the downside further, and we can see the reaction that is happening is intensely bearish. CAD CHF again. We see the reaction that happened around this point. Prices are failing to form a high right now. It's like really an indecisive position. Hmm. We had this kind of break around this point, and right now like price pushed, failed, went back down there again, like trying to push up, failed to even like break above, and this could be an important level around this point that we can get a continuation on the downside after the break from this point. And CHF JPY. two candle retracement and again pushing on the downside would be like reaching around this level. So that's it, guys, and I hope you had fun because there are like really good setups, really intense setups right now. We are just really confused by this DXY gaps out here. See this gap kind of like irritating me in that kind of scenario, and this gap out here, and now we again have a gap around here because this is an opening price, this is a closing price, so price should have like opened around this point and price is opening down there. So these kind of like things right now in the scenarios are a bit difficult to understand. So anyway, there are good setups out there, and I kind of like got my hand on few of them. So see you later tomorrow.